What's up, family? This is your man, not your boy, Gold Black to Africa. So I'm out here on the shores in Delaware. That's right, in Delaware. Just left out of the Harriet Tubman Museum and the Underground Railroad. It was an awesome experience. Please check that video out because there are truths in what you're going to hear and see when I go ahead and post this video. But let me say this right here, family. You know, we know that human beings have a tendency to stretch the truth, to tell these little lies, to add and ad-lib to stories which can send people down a course of life to believe stories and come to find out it may not be true. Now, I've already got my so-called eye-opening experience when it comes to really how we as human beings kind of act. You know, my revelation was 12 years ago, I think it was, when it was shown to me in the spirit that everything is a lie, and yet everything is the truth. And I had to come and understand that there is no absolute truth. Because you know how it is. You tell a story to somebody, then that person tells it in the way they understood it or heard it, based upon their language, based upon their so-called educational level, or the way they can lay out maybe some facts and use different words and all that stuff right there. But I'm saying this right here. We have to be very careful when we come across information and run with it. What I like to do, family, is I like to really find witnesses, not necessarily individuals. It could be newspaper articles, it could be structures or things or people or places, wherever, to be able to see, is there anything that can validate this so-called information that I have, and will it be able to show me the light of that subject matter? It's sad that we live in a world today that we can easily go on the internet, look up some information, or look at one reference or source and think that it's absolute truth. I don't believe we can ever get to an absolute truth. And I believe that anytime we read stories and it starts to travel from one ear to another, that people will add to or take away from it. It's just a tendency that human beings do. Let me give you an example right here. You know, if I asked you, according to the Bible, right? Because those people out here who it's been put on their heads of this picture of the baby Jesus who is in a manger, and there are wise men with him. And it said that there are 3 wise men. Well, when you look at it and say 3 wise men, why is it 3 wise men? Because the scripture never mentioned the number. But the word has been shown around the globe that there's 3 wise men who came to visit so-called Jesus Christ that was a baby in a manger. And he wasn't even a baby. But because they read that there were gold, incense, and frankincense and myrrh that was given, gold, frankincense, and myrrh, as a gift, people want to assume there were just only 3 wise men. Well, we know there were many wise men who came bearing gifts. It just was probably the main 3 of high gifts that you could give, expensive gifts or whatever you want to call it. That is just one of billions of different stories how people put slants to it. Now, you have people out here who makes videos and they want to tell their story based upon their prejudice, their biases, or their belief system. See, we have to realize that people have agendas. When they try to make a point, they want to show you that they are right. I'm at a place in my life, 55 years old. I've outgrown that, okay? My thing is, let's get to the bottom of it. Whether I be wrong or whether I be right, I shall provide the information that is given. And that information, it's gotta be right and exact. It's gotta be word for word. And if it's not, then we are painting a picture that may not be the truth of the matter. You know how it is. People read stories all the time. Whether you are in school, whether you go to the library and read books, these people who write are limited in understanding, vocabulary, perceptions, whether it is their biases in their religion, whether it is their biases in their culture. These things is what limited us in telling the stories. But we can gather as much as witnesses as that can point the finger to whether or not it did happen, or it existed, or it did not. I'm saying this is because I'm seeing we as a people, if we mess up any history, we can revert back to where we were. Let me give you an example. Our brother, Dane Calloway, and I'm going to call him brother. He's a young cat, and he's slanted in his documentaries, and he believes and try to squeeze each and every one of us into a box of believing that this is what happened and this is the story. Now, of course, I am one who sometimes approach things in a pessimistic way and try to shoot holes in situations of stories or information. But you cannot try to portray yourself to be a researcher, a historian, if you're walking in wanting to prove your point in a matter that you want everybody to believe. You can't do that. And Brother Dane, which I said does great jobs in presenting, but the information is way off cuff in some of his things. To make a claim that Harriet Tubman is fictional or Nat Turner, this is what I'm talking about, the change of history and the detriments that can happen. These individuals who are so-called prolific in standing up and making and doing actions to show that we were a people, that we were not lazy. We did not just stand by and was enslaved. We had uprisings. We had riots and fights. We had people who were trying to get people out of slavery. But to diminish a people, which I'm like, okay, if you want to be native, stay on your native side. You stay out of our side then. If you want to be native, aboriginal, indigenous to America, and don't believe that you are that, then you look up your native history and stay out of everybody else's business then. But I'm guilty of that too, though. Sometimes I bring on topics that other people and the stuff that they do. But what I'm saying is this, that people will follow this and believe it. And there should be a sense of responsibility that when you are telling stories or you're making it seem you're doing research and you are now tearing down the heroic actions that people have done, especially for us black folks, you're falling into the trap of what most of the evil Europeans were doing. You want to try to take away the great productivity and the inventions and the advancements that we have did. We need those for our youth to be able to stand up proudly to say, we did achieve back in the day. We did have lawyers, doctors, and farmers and business people, and we were middle class. We did have rich millionaires, but you have people who want to tear down the truth for their own selfishness. I'm gonna sit here and scold you, because even though you my brother and I love you, I don't care if you my sister, I'm going to sit here and tell you as an elder, you're wrong. Now, whether or not you want to take that or not, hey, it's your business if you want to take it or not. But we have an ultimate responsibility to shame lies. We have an ultimate responsibility to expose those who are doing the evil. Malicious evil. Man, there's only two things he either stands on, and those people who wants to support such garbage. Either you have an agenda to try to make money and try to wipe away the history because you don't like how it's presented, or you're just foolish and ignorant. Because to do videos, to go on the internet and pull up some photos, or to stand in front of something and you ain't travel anywhere to try to find out the real story, is ignorant. And I don't know if it's malicious or not for those people who are out there who does such a thing. But this is what has been done to us. Trying to cover up or trying to wipe away the truth of the matter of what has transpired and the accomplishments and the achievements of what we have done. People should be in an uproar over that. I can't see how you can support people like that. Support those who's willing to stand on the truth. No taking away, no adding, but what is the exact and right. That's what you should be going towards. But this generation we're living in, the old folk, the middle folk, the young folk, we have lost our minds, and to be able to accept ignorance as a means of truth. It is true when it's written in the ancient writings. The day shall come when right will be wrong and wrong will be right. Man shall become lovers of self. If you're going to tell a story, be right and exact. Word for word. Don't try to squeeze and make it be your story. I challenged even when I was here at some of the museums and stuff. Where can I find that information? And a lot of it, you got to go to some of these, you got to go to these national archives, because there's all it is the things if you're trying to find out. Oh, if she was in the Civil War, can I find it? You got to go to the National Military Library or archives. Then if it's land, then you got to go to the land commissions, the archive, whatever. Then you got to go to all these different things, places that you got to find. So that with that, family, stand for righteousness. I would hate for somebody to bear false witness against me because they want to add to or take away about who I am. That's why it says in the ancient writings, if one has a fault against another or find something within another, he must have two witnesses to validate that very thing you're saying about them. That's what's in the judicial system. So that's where we need to do when it comes to information. Gotta have witnesses. This is your man, not your boy. Go black to Africa.
Think about it, 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 think about it.